And welcome back to episode 169 of the Weekly Tech Rant with me, Jay.
Me, Carl.
Well, Carl, we are back. Do you know what? I was looking earlier. We've nearly been doing this for 4 years.
Blimey. Really?
2020.
2020, the vintage year of lockdown. Oh, what are we going to do with ourselves? Let's do a podcast.
I don't know. I was looking at something earlier. I was looking at dates and I was like, 2020. We're in 2024 now, and we're nearly halfway through 2024 as well.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed 169 episodes later, we'd still be here talking tech? I won't say any more just in case, people have got their own views on that. But this week we have got an interesting lineup for you. We're going to cover Microsoft Build, all of the bits we didn't talk about last week. We're going to talk about the Sony PSVR 2, and looks like it could be actually happening for PC. ICQ is shutting down. Yes, that pause was deliberate because I thought ICQ had died a long time ago, but apparently it's still there.
Yeah.
Google's had some dodgy search results after training its data on Reddit, which has proved very disastrous in my opinion. And Apple has finally confirmed the keynote details for WWDC, and we've got a gaming update regarding Call of Duty, which is again a follow-on from what we talked about last week. So then, let's kick off with Microsoft Build 2024, which happened, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
And is kind of Microsoft's, I want to say...
WWDC.
Well, yeah, it is, isn't it? It's all about the tech, isn't it? It's all about tech. It's all about what's coming. It's all about kind of developments, isn't it, in the software, particularly Windows and stuff like that, isn't it? So they're kind of...
Although I kind of argue WWDC is now a bit more of a consumer event. Or certainly the keynote speeches.
Definitely. It's more polished than I think it ever used to be.
Yeah, definitely. But what other bits did we get?
Well, we got, I guess, a bit of a... Well, let's be honest. It's AI, isn't it? Let's be
Of course. I expect nothing less.
Let's kind of, set the tone high. It is AI. So really, this was about Windows and really kind of where the direction of Windows is going, particularly on the AI pieces. So a few of the kind of things we got was how Microsoft wants to leverage AI in all of its applications. And if you don't use a lot of MS applications, or you only use, say, Office, then you won't realize actually how much Copilot has become a real standard part of the technology stack. So a little while ago, they released the AI Copilot for Office, didn't they? You've got the kind of the standard one, and for Windows. We also see it now, the Security Copilot. It also is embedded in things like Power Automate, within Forms. It is there to help you. So today, a great example, I was using Power Automate today, which is the RPA or Robotic Process Automation tool from Microsoft, where you can get it to basically take an action. It's a really simple one. I've got a form. That form goes to a SharePoint list, and then I want emails to be sent, or I want it to create new items in the list from the form. And what it can do there is it allows you to do that. Copilot's built in to say, what do you want to do? You tell it what you want to do. It then really can build the structure of that for you automatically, and then help you with troubleshooting and bug reply. It's really useful. It's great. What I will say, though, is ChatGPT was far more use with some of the errors I had earlier.
Copy and paste into ChatGPT. Fix it.
That. But so that's one of the areas where Copilots are in there. Also, just as a kind of another area we're seeing Copilot is inside Windows itself within the Power Toys features. So again, this is leveraging the AI to get it to say, what do you want to do? And this is leveraging the OpenAI ChatGPT integration directly, and it does state that in the Power Toys there as well. But we also saw some bits around about the developer kits, didn't we? So developer kits that Microsoft have put together for devs who want to build apps for Windows, but they're not cheap, though, are they?
No, but then not as a Mac Mini.
No, that's true.
I mean, these are $899 as a dev kit. They are, say, roughly the size of a Mac Mini. You get the latest Snapdragon X Elite chip, 32 gig of RAM, 512 gig SSD in it.
Nice little machine, really.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get that spec, regardless of whether the Snapdragon X is as good as the what's the latest one in the Mini, M2?
Yeah, yes it is, yeah.
So whether it's as good as the M2 or not, but I mean, spec-wise, certainly 32 gig of RAM, you're not getting in your Mac Mini for $899.
No, not at all.
Nowhere close. You'll get 8 gig and you'll be happy with it.
But there's a key thing about these particular dev kits, isn't it, that they have, which is designed for the AI capability in them. Because
Yeah.
to become a Copilot or the AI PC, isn't it, or Windows and
Yep.
AI, the CPU has to be able to have a minimum of 40 tops for AI. Now, tops, for anybody
Mm.
that's listening, go, what do you mean by tops? Tops means trillions or tera operations per second.
Yeah.
And it's a metric of basically what a chip can do, isn't it, in regards to AI.
Mm. Yeah.
And these dev kits have got 45 tops. Which is a weird metric, it really is. Um, so they meet the minimum of
Yeah.
40, which means that people who are building machines, that want to be for Windows AI or have these things like the recall capability or other, won't be able to work. And I don't know, you and I were looking, was it a framework the other day? The people who build laptops,
Yes.
you can slot it now, and their latest ones, there was a question I saw on the frame thing was, could you run, the new capability? And apparently you can't. Their CPU setup isn't good enough yet on there.
No, but I think we're waiting for Intel and AMD have already released ones with their MPU, haven't they? But I don't know whether maybe it's not fast enough, the MPU now, or maybe it is, and we just haven't got round to it yet because it's not ARM.
No, I have to say though, for 899, it's quite a tempting little machine to have. I know,
I was hovering over the button.
I know it says that not everybody can buy one, but it's.
I'll give it a go.
And apparently it's got a TDP of 80 watts, so that's not bad, really, is it? That's pretty good.
No, not at all, not at all. One of the other bits that was quite cool actually with the event was that not that I'm an Edge browser user, I'm a Firefox man myself, but apparently it'll auto translate YouTube and other videos now. It uses basically AI to translate. So say you're watching a Spanish video, it will translate it to English or vice versa, and it covers not just I can use Spanish, it'll do German, Hindi, Italian, even Russian. So it will kind of auto convert those on the fly.
That's quite a cool little feature, isn't it? That's the one thing I think that AI does very well is this automated closed caption piece, isn't it?
It's
And
not even closed caption. It says dub, so I presume it's going to put a fake voice on
yeah,
for you.
what's what I mean? And this is the kind of thing we talked about the other week, wasn't it? Around AI and kind of that universal translator approach
Yeah.
that we have from Star Trek. I love the idea of this. I always now need it in my ear, just so when I'm talking, I hear back let's just say the Hindi or whatever, or Spanish or whatever it might be. That would be awesome. Just so many things I could do with that.
Definitely. There was one scary announcement there, wasn't there? There's the Copilot AI agents.
Oh yes.
But they're not coming for your jobs, but they are virtual employees that business can use for menial tasks, like monitoring emails, carrying out a series of automation tasks, helping with employee onboarding, doing data entry. Isn't
I
that an
Yeah,
actual job? Data entry? So, yeah, it's coming for your job.
but this is realistically no different to the custom chat GPTs that you get in OpenAI, isn't it?
No.
It's the same mechanism with a Microsoft skin on top. And there is the custom, what they call it, the Copilot Studio, where you can go in and you can build these and you can create them. Look, we've got these today, haven't we? We've got these chatbots or whatever you want to call them on websites today. You've got them.
Hmm.
This is just an uprated version of that, is it? The kind of chatbot on steroids.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
And the Copilot Studio will allow you to link data from places like ServiceNow, SAP, Workday, so you can build your own, which I think is quite cool. Because if you
Yep.
think about Workday for people that use it, or in organizations to manage teams or your own personal information, there are sometimes you just think, where do I find this? Because the menus
Oh,
are
God,
terrible.
Workday, yes. Yeah.
But if you can have a chatbot that can say, right, create me a holiday request for these dates on this time, thanks very much, send, and does it, that'd be
Yeah.
brilliant. I'd love that. But that's coming soon. So that is available through Microsoft 365 Copilot, which was a paid service that Microsoft launched earlier this month. It's not cheap though.
No, I'm guessing it wasn't going to be.
It's $30 a month per user, and apparently you need, I think it said a minimum of 300 users.
Wowzer.
Yeah.
So me and you won't be buying it then.
No, but give it 12 months. It'll be rolled into the E5 license, I'm sure,
Yeah.
So we had so what we had the YouTube translations. Oh yes, Teams is getting uprated. So Teams isn't getting some AI capability. It's already got a Copilot coming, but you're also now going to be how to add in your own custom emoji like Slack. So if you're a Slack
Yeah,
user, you can have custom emoji. You can now do the same in Teams, or be able to very soon. They won't be available externally. It'll only be inside your domain, and that
yeah.
is coming in a couple of months' time in July.
Oh,
So that's not too
interesting.
bad. Yeah. Microsoft Explorer is getting a boost, and you'll now be able to use Explorer to integrate with as a Git repository. That's quite clever.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting to see how that plays out. So is that Explorer integrated with Git, as in you can set it up like a drive within Windows Explorer itself, I imagine?
Yeah, so you can integrate directly to Git.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to browse those repositories directly from the Explorer app on your PC. So you don't have to go outside to boot
Git,
up, I don't
Git
know, another
desktop or
tool.
something like that.
Yeah, something like, it'll be designed there. So if you're managing, I guess you're building stuff, it'll look natively as opposed to the apps.
Nice.
I know these aren't for many users, but actually it's quite a handy tool, isn't it? Because some people use Git for building websites. You can use it for other apps if you're using home automation and pulling, things down. It's quite a good way of doing it. But
It is. Yeah. I mean, I've often looked at putting all my configs for servers in Git, but I was like, oh, that's just a lot of hassle.
no. Microsoft also announced another upgrade to its AI capabilities. So this is one of its smaller language models called Pi 3, PHI. I'm assuming that's Pi as opposed to Phi.
Yep.
And Pi 3 is what they call a multimodal model. So it can read images, text, and is designed for mobile devices, which is quite clever.
Ah, interesting to see how Apple's one comes out in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, so this is something they're going to be looking to develop for apps on laptops as well as kind of the mobile devices. And Pi 3 is a much smaller footprint than OpenAI's DALI or the Stable Diffusion. It doesn't generate images, but it designed more to
You can
use as a
understand them.
yeah, I mean image analyzer capability on that. So it's been putting out, I guess for your apps, look at this, tell me what I'm seeing, or you know can it do visual reasoning as well as looking at, like, if you showed a chart, you can get asked questions on it, you can use the data and other things as well. So that's been released by them as well, and that's available for developers to use through the Azure library for AI creation. And there's three versions of it: uh, uh, Pi 3 Mini, Pi 3 Small, and Pi 3 Medium, all designed on the size of the parameters, which are 14, 7, and 3.8 respectively. So it's quite a small little language model there.
So, Mini, is that smaller than small?
Yes.
So, is Mini being the smallest one?
Yeah, so
Right,
it's
okay.
mini 3.8,
Yeah,
small is 7, and the
gotcha.
14 is medium. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So again, more about developers, but I think so. Build. Yeah, there are a few other things as well, but I guess these are the kind of ones that I think have caught my eye, and allow you to develop stuff on Windows going forward. And again, it showcases that AI is underpinning everything, isn't it? Everybody's apps, everybody's platforms. AI is the drawing point, isn't it?
Is that a good idea? Well, we'll talk about that when we get to Google later.
Well, very good point. Very good point. But before we get there, let's talk about Sony's PSVR 2. And if you may recall, a few weeks ago, or actually it might be longer than that now, there were rumors that PlayStation were looking to develop a capability for PSVR 2 owners to use the devices on a
Yep.
PC, for PC games. Now, they at the time it weren't sure whether this was going to be as a kind of same as an Index or a Oculus, you can use it for anything, but it does appear now, based on a new bit of news, that an official adapter is in the works for PC users, and it may be
Yeah.
for only PS5 exclusive. Sorry, it may or may not be. We're not sure yet for whether they're going to be exclusive games on it, but the adapter does appear to be real.
Yeah. It does. It was out in a filing via Korea's National Radio Research Agency, which I suppose is their version of like the FCC, isn't it? This stumps me. Why do we need an adapter? The headset's USB-C,
Well, this could be. Is this
which
a way of them controlling?
worries me that it's going to be some kind of lockdown to only run on Sony games on the PC.
Why couldn't you do that with software, though? I wonder.
I don't know. I don't understand why I don't need an adapter. Why we need an adapter? It's just USB-C. All we need is a driver.
Yes, basically, this is the same as the Quest apps, isn't it? You
Yeah.
think that
It's already recognised by Windows. We just don't have a valid driver for it.
no. I am
Which
curious.
makes me think they're up to shenanigans.
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm curious. I am very curious to understand what it does. But it's promising though. I mean, because if this does come out, Sony are going to have to be not clever, but they're going to have to be opening up a library of games here to work on it, because how many Sony games at the moment, say PlayStation titles, available on PC today have VR capability? I can't think of too many.
No, I don't think they've got any. But
I mean,
are they suddenly going to bring a load out along with the announcement of the PSVR 2 adapter or whatever?
Yeah. Now, based on my research, there is a handful of AAA titles.
Yeah.
There. I think if you go to the Wikipedia page, it lists 278 games on there, right? Which is a lot, but when you break that down into proper, should we say, high-end games, AAA titles, there's like 4 or 5. And 2 of them are Resident Evil. One of them is Gran Turismo 7. I'll leave that with you there.
Yeah, well, Gran Turismo 7 isn't available on PC though, is it? So yeah.
Exactly. So I question here what the logic's going to be for Sony. Are they going to release Gran Turismo for PC? Because that would be a groundbreaking if they did, but I can't see that.
That's not going to happen.
Just a thought.
No chance. The adapter's probably just another way to make some money.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Pay £50 and you can have
on top of your £550 headset.
But maybe that's it. Maybe then it won't be locked, but it won't work without the adapter. So you can use it for anything.
So you pay you £50, but couldn't they just do that in software? Why go to the trouble of doing an adapter?
I don't know, but this is Sony.
Somebody is going to reverse engineer that adapter. Figure out what software hack they need to do, and you won't have to buy it anymore.
Probably, but just thinking of who it is here, that seems a lot. Look, Sony love dongles. How many dongles for the PlayStation there were originally?
I don't know, but the hackers are going to see this as a personal challenge. It will be done in days.
Hardware hackers are going to love it when it comes out, and you know what? Let's see what happens. I'm not suggesting we should condone it. I'm just saying let's see what happens.
Right, ICQ.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said earlier, I didn't realise this was still around. Apparently, because it came out in 1996, I think it was. And by an Israeli company called Mirabils. Obviously, AOL acquired it a couple of years later, and I thought it was still with AOL, but apparently Russian company VK bought it in 2010. I've not heard of VK until they said they were called Mail.ru. I'd heard of Mail.ru.
Yes, spammers galore.
Exactly. So it's been run by a Russian company since 2010, but now they are apparently shutting it down.
I remember ICQ fondly. The late 90s.
Yeah, I used it. I mean, apparently it had 100 million users at its peak.
Yeah, and it was, it was on its, it was a thing of its time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I remember ICQ. I remember AOL Instant Messenger. There were then we got MSN. There were all of the ways to do it.
We used AOL.
Yes, AOL. God, AOL. Yeah, the wall garden.
Well, it's just because they gave you unlimited, didn't they, for a set price. I think they were the first company to do it, and you could go outside the wall garden, but cheap internet.
But not many people knew how to fire up a browser.
No, exactly, yeah.
Most people who used AOL or CompuServe or whatever they were on got trapped in the wall garden because they didn't realize that you could open up Internet Explorer or Netscape, and it would work, wouldn't it?
Yep, exactly.
But I mean, it was great. I just was shocked shocked that it was
Yeah.
there. It still existed. I mean,
Well, maybe you
but
need to have
apparently,
one last look at it. You got till June the 26th.
well,
If you can
apparently
remember
these.
your login details.
Well, yeah, that in no way on God's green earth. Though I do know that. I was more interested that it had an iOS app.
Yeah, but those have been pulled from the store. Apparently, the iOS and the Android app have been pulled from the store already. I presume it's the online website, or for people who's already got the app downloaded, that it ends in June.
Yeah, and if you think about it now, it's what it's turned into, or what the evolution of it is spawned all the messaging apps that you kind of know today, doesn't it? We've got the encrypted apps that we've talked about before, like Signal, Telegram.
Mm.
You know, if you think about as well, we had BlackBerry as a messenger, didn't we, for a long time? BBM that
Yep.
kind of took over that, I guess, the status of the king of messaging apps. But I think ICQ it has a holds a special place in many people's heart of a certain age, and I think if you grew up and came of age in the late 90s, then this is probably it for you, alongside the other ones we mentioned about. And I remember, Instant Messenger was great, and then there was things like apps where you could remember I can't think of a few of them, but where you could load them all into the same app, and it was
Yeah, we had Skype as well when it was peer to peer.
oh, Skype, yes, we went
The
peer.
original one before Microsoft bought them, but yeah, that was all peer to peer, wasn't it, for voice and
Yeah,
text and stuff?
yeah, those were the days. It really was. I don't, I don't know. I mean, these days, Discord, isn't it? It's kind of the messaging platform. I think.
WhatsApp's is, I would say it's probably its replacement. Everyone uses
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
well, yeah, I guess WhatsApp for phones and that, but
I have it on the desktop.
yeah, I mean, I have got it on the desktop for work. Yeah, it's true. It's yeah, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things. Will it? You won't see the like of it again. I doubt in those early primitive days.
No, exactly.
Well, talking about primitive results,
Oh,
Google has got itself into hot water as it has been testing AI results within the search capabilities, hasn't it?
it's
Um,
what do they call it? AI overviews. You search for something in Google and it appears at the top, but your results underneath.
it has indeed. But however, it seems to have lost the plot, doesn't it? Somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's been some plainly weird results and some downright dangerous answers and suggestions coming out of these. I mean, to give you an idea of some of them, what do we have? We had oh yeah, someone was asking, right, the cheese kept falling off the pizza. Is there anything they could do? Google's answer
Oh,
was
this one.
add some glue. So mix 1/8 of a cup of Elmer's glue in with a sauce. Non-toxic glue will work. Uh, yeah. What else we have? Oh, how many rocks should
Hang
I
on,
eat?
I must stress, please. We do not condone or
No,
recommend.
we definitely do not. That is a bad, dangerous one. Do not add glue to any food. Also, don't eat rocks, people. So, yeah, someone asked how many rocks they should eat. And it's clearly, I don't think this is one it picked up from Reddit, but this is one it picked up from, I think, The Onion or something. And basically, it was a spoof article. It basically quoted a geologist at UC Berkeley who suggested, one small rock a day as a
Oh, yes.
vital source of minerals and vitamins.
And it has been absolutely ludicrous in some others. There are some slightly more adult ones that we won't repeat on the show
It was,
today.
recommended smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes a day if you're pregnant.
That was it. Yeah, that was the one. Was it? And there was also ones about it was coming.
There was
from
cockroaches, but we won't go into that one.
No,
There was the one if
about-
you are feeling depressed, it suggests you to jump off a bridge.
again.
Again,
Please
don't. No,
these,
speak to someone.
Yeah, please do. And then there was also stuff around conspiracy theories, and it was picking up from all kinds of places, wasn't it? Like that Barack Obama. How many Muslim presidents has had?
Yep.
Has had, was it the US had, and it spat out one.
One. Right.
Barack Hussein Obama. It's like, oh my god.
No. So basically, the Google team been kind of playing whack-a-mole, haven't they? And they're not fixing it as such. They're disabling the AI overview for specific searches that it knows about. So a lot of the ones we just suggested won't work anymore because Google have disabled it for that one. But I suppose this is kind of what happens, isn't it, when you train your AI on Reddit? Yeah, and the wider internet, especially AI doesn't really understand sarcasm or parody. And just because it's on the internet, and I say this to my kids, doesn't mean it's true.
No.
It's basically behaving like a 10-year-old. It doesn't understand the subtlety of of humor and sarcasm and that kind of stuff, and it just takes everything written at face value.
Exactly, you're right. It's gone off and gone, oh, here's the answer. This must be what you're looking for, without, as you say, any context knowledge of that as well. So this is absolutely that point that AI is not infallible, isn't it? It is going to get things wrong, and it's getting it quite a lot of the time. It's getting it wrong because of the data that it's reading. And
Reddit are
this is
doing well though; they're making a lot of money out of selling the Reddit data to AI companies.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
they,
I mean, Reddit can be, you can get some very good answers out of Reddit and some of the subreddits we follow, but it's also a toxic dumpster fire in there of all sorts.
it is, and I think this is something Google needs to do. Google has got big plans though for the AI overviews, isn't it? This is only really kind of a work in progress of what they plan to bring out. They understand part of it that is they want to have what they call multi-step reasoning for complex queries.
Yeah.
So you'll get information from an AI, you'll get video search, you'll get other contextual information all built in, and this is all part of Google's way to overhaul search from what it is today. But it is not good at the moment, is
I
it?
know. I mean, I went to have a play around with this, and I haven't used Google probably in, I don't know, 6 or 7 months as a default search engine. And wow, what a dumpster fire it is. I mean, I just want a plain list of results. I don't want all this fancy crap on top, and it takes ages to actually find what you're looking for now. I'm not sure it's an improvement.
No, I think this is the problem, isn't it? At the moment, is because it can't differentiate between what's real and what's not.
Yeah,
We're in a kind of position where we have all of this uh, wrong results and
yeah,
dodgy results coming through. For other tasks, AI is doing brilliantly.
yeah.
Really
But
is.
on the
But
Google homepage, you basically got all the AI stuff, and then all the ads, and you're basically the second page before you actually get any real results.
yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
No. We'll
So
see how that gets on
I
later.
was going to say on that point, we're going to. However, talking about AI, then Apple has confirmed that WWDC keynote details is going to be all about AI and iOS 18. So
Mm.
Monday, June the 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 6 p.m. UK time will be the State of the Union address for WWDC.
Yes.
And they have given out some views on what is coming, haven't they, around the address itself. The keynote will be covering that. We're going to talk around the latest updates across all of the
OSs.
OSs. I was going to say there's so many of them,
OS.
and going there as well. But they obviously, and they haven't really kind of told us specifics, but it is clear that it is going to be about AI and where it's going. And I think one of the things that we've kind of looked at is how's this really going to work, isn't it, from an AI perspective on the
Yeah.
devices? Because if they've signed up a deal with OpenAI, which is not being confirmed yet, but is rumored, one of the questions was the cost of the service, wasn't it? And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is if you look at OpenAI today, you have free versions which are limited in results, aren't they? What you can
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and you have the pay for service, which gives you more access, obviously. But
What is it?
eventually,
$20 a month?
yeah, yeah. And if we look at how many users OpenAI have got today, which is in the high hundred thousands, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
How many active users do Apple have today?
2.2 billion?
Exactly. So
And
if
around
Apple
what, 75-80% of those are currently on the latest version of the OS.
exactly, so that in theory, you've got to have an 80% uptake of iOS 18. Therefore, you've got potentially 80% of your user base accessing the new AI capabilities. I don't think that Apple can afford or are going to want this to be working in the cloud, and therefore they're going to be doing a lot of handoff, as we've kind of thought, onto the device, aren't we, for a lot of
Yeah.
the activities? At least that's the logic, isn't it, really here?
Yeah, I mean, so if like we talked about with the Microsoft Build event and the small language model ones doing things like image interpretation, Apple will have that. Surely it'll be doing all that on device. Apple has a great neural engine on there already. It's proven. It's probably in the fifth or sixth generation of it, isn't it? Of its NPU, if not more.
Yeah.
But again, will that then rely on new, improved NPUs in the next iPhone 16? We jumped with the iPad, didn't we, to the M4 for the better NPU in it.
Yeah.
So is some of the local stuff really actually going to be limited to the new phones only?
Well, this is it, and or the other option is charging for it, isn't it? Really,
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be in with your Apple One subscription. Is it called Apple One?
it is Apple One.
Apple,
Apple
yeah.
keep raising the price off. Apple one and one and one and one and one and one and one.
Apple One
Um,
Plus.
I I wonder though if they do that, they'll increase the price of it.
Quite possibly. Or say, two tiers, a One and a One Plus, and the Plus gets you AI or whatever they want to call it.
Or they won't increase the price of it to start with. It'll be part
First
of the
year
Apple
free.
One. Yeah, exactly.
Like Apple
But then,
TV.
yeah, funny that. And then next year, all of a sudden, there's an incremental price increase again to supplement the cost of the AI.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes. But I think you're right. A lot of it will be done on device, but stuff offloaded to the cloud. But again, I'm wondering how this is going to work with privacy concerns. Will Apple be running? Apple won't be putting stuff back into OpenAI servers.
No way.
That's
No.
not going to happen. They'll be running their own version of OpenAI on its own servers where it controls the data. So
I think that's more logical, isn't it?
yeah, but then that's a huge investment for Apple, isn't it, in hardware and GPUs and all that kind of stuff.
But until obviously until the 10th, we're not entirely sure whether or not we're going to see that.
No,
But Apple must be ready to take the leap into the AI step. And AI for Apple is a pivotal moment now because, like a lot of things Apple do, they don't necessarily lead from the front in developing it, but they take it mainstream, don't they?
they do.
They drive a market with it, and I think this could be a real changing point for how we see AI. Because if you look at Amazon and the other person who should not be mentioned, that's a very good assistant tool capability, has been for a long time. But we don't see Amazon driving forward, do we, without the moment in terms of its capabilities? We're hearing more from Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic,
Yep.
etc. If Apple could revolutionize how she who should not be named works and integrate some of the power and capability that OpenAI provide, if that's the deal,
She might be useful.
yeah, I've said it before. If it can understand contextual requests, then
Yeah. And I don't want to hear that. I've opened this in the browser for you, unless I've actually asked her to do that. I just want her to give me the answer.
Yeah.
Because usually when I'm actually using her, it's driving. I can't be looking at a browser at this point. And she should know that because she can do the accelerator and the GPS and know I'm in a car.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this could be the game changer. But there's so many questions, and I don't I think we'll get a lot of it, but whether or not we'll get really all the detail,
More and more will come out over the week as well because
Okay.
you've got all the developer classes afterwards, haven't you?
we have. But I think this is definitely going to be probably one of the more interesting WWDCs we've had for many years because iOS 18 really is going to be, I think, a changing point in how the software works, or it's going to be fall flat in its face.
So is this going to be the ones you actually watch and not me have to message you about it?
Yeah. I've blocked out the diary this time.
Cancel all your flights, your international travel, you're staying at home.
I'm staying at home for that. Yeah. Exactly. Right then. So another big announcement that's happened in the last week as well. Again, following up the story we had last week, wasn't it, regarding Xbox Game Pass?
It was indeed. So obviously it was rumored last week that Microsoft are actually going to release Call of Duty Black Ops 6 day one on Game Pass. Microsoft actually gone and confirmed it. There was a bit of a blunder, wasn't there? It started popping up in the Game Pass app as a notification before it being an official announcement. But yeah, Microsoft have confirmed that when it's released, which we think is going to be October, day one, Game Pass for PC and Xbox.
This is awesome news, isn't it?
It is, but we've still not heard anything about the back catalogue. And I'm wondering, we've got the summer showcase on June the 9th, and after that, we've got a Call of Duty event, haven't we? So I'm wondering at that point, are they going to drop the back catalogue onto Game Pass?
I wonder. They've got to, surely. And surely, though, wouldn't you want to tee up anticipation and kind of build that fever pitch by releasing the back catalogue before we get there?
Exactly, and it was all one of the things about Game Pass is you got all the first party games.
Yeah.
Well, we've had none from Activision yet, have we? Oh, no, on the Call of Duty line, I should say.
I just look. I've said to you when this was announced, I'm going back to COD.
Yeah, let's give it a go. I mean, I'm probably bored in 10 minutes. I've been killed by 12-year-olds, but
Yeah, but I won't. But yeah, if I can't play co-op, I'm not doing it. I'm going to.
but the single player hopefully will be a decent adventure this time.
Yeah, I'm up for that. And you know what? I haven't played for so long. It's it's one of those things where I can just play it, switch off, don't have to worry about the game. Just I know what I'm
Yep.
doing. Run and shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot. But yeah, I'd be keen to go back and play some of the back catalogue, especially some ones that come out the last couple of years, like Modern Warfare 3. Like, I really would have wanted to, but I just wasn't going to drop the money.
No, yeah, exactly. So for free on Game Pass, I'll certainly be filling out my hard drive space.
Well, there you go. We might need another one.
Time to upgrade those SSDs again.
Oh dear. Well, that's everything we've got this week. Bit of a shorter call this week, but we wanted to cover some of those things. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe that Game Pass is fine. We're finally there with Game Pass and COD.
Yep.
Well, I say we are. Once we have the confirmation on the back catalogue, I'll be a happy man. But
yeah.
But June the 9th, which is that's a Sunday, isn't it? It must be if the June the 10th is a Monday.
Yes, it's a Sunday night. All right, might find out what time it is and get the kids watching it.
Well, I say maybe we'll get the details on June the 9th whether or not the back catalogue's coming.
Yeah.
Right then, like I said, well, that's all from us this week. We'll be back next week with episode 170 of the Weekly Tech Rant. Of course, you can find us still on X, Twitter, whatever they're calling it this week, at Weekly Tech Rant. And of course, all our show notes and information of everything we've talked about today at techrant.online. Well, in that case, I've been Jay.
I've been Carl. Good one all.